like not to brag or anything, like getting women.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say? Hey guys, we're back with another video. So today we're gonna be doing AMS, she and all that.
Yep.
So interesting title. So I'm curious to see what his opinion is. And yeah, so we'll get into it.
All right, so here we go.
What's up, fellas? So I had a loyal patron supporter that wanted me to explain how to view dimes as sevens. So basically what he wanted to know is how to not put dimes on a pedestal, how to treat dimes just like I would a seven. Well, let me say this right here, guys, right off the bat. And I've been saying this since I got on doing this fucking shit on YouTube. You can't fake emotions. You can't fake emotions. See, when he asked me this question, y'all guys want me to tell you how to do some shit without the proper mindset. There is no way of getting around the work, period. So stop asking me, okay? Guys been asking me how to feel more confident. If you don't feel confident, you just ain't gonna wake up out of the bed in the morning and feel confident. There's no way around it. There's no magic pill I can give you to make you feel confident. Guys ask me how to get an abundance mindset. There's no way you're gonna wake up in the morning and feel and just have an abundance mindset if you don't have one. You have to develop it. You have to develop confidence, and you have to develop the mindset to not treat dimes like they special. You have to treat you have to have a certain type of mindset to treat a dime just like a seven. Now,
All right, so what are your thoughts on that? He's basically saying you got to develop yourself to ultimately have an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, or do you think people are just born with it? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Born with an abundance mindset?
Yeah, like maybe they came from a certain environment, upbringing, maybe, their parents instilled an abundance mindset into them. Like, do you think it's more of a environment perspective, or do you think it's something that you develop as a man on your own? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's definitely learned, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No one comes out of the womb with like, you know what I'm saying? Like with this kind of, like with any mindset, honestly. So
Right.
Definitely learned, for sure. In regards to like what he was saying for don't put women on a pedestal though,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also really important. You don't want to put anyone on a pedestal because that just leads to like, you don't want to disappoint yourself in having these high expectations for somebody. And then let's say, he puts this girl on a pedestal and trying to get this girl because she's the best option or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't work out for you. It's like, okay, when that doesn't work out, that's when the abundance mindset comes in. It's like, all right, there's more women that like it could work out with for me and all this stuff.
Right.
And you continue moving forward and you just kind of like, honestly, it's kind of good to laugh it off a little bit and just be like, you know what, charge it to the game.
Yeah.
Keep pushing. There's
Right.
going to be there's someone for someone, like always, you know? So.
Right. And that's the mindset that most men should have. They shouldn't be attached to somebody that's temporary in their life.
In the beginning.
Right. In the beginning, of course, you do want to build rapport and a relationship over time.
Yeah.
But you don't want to just ideally, you don't want to fall like head over heels for a woman that you just met and ultimately she leaves you, or she just snatches away your confidence and then your confidence leaves with that woman. You want to establish yourself first as a man, develop yourself, be confident in who you are, and then meet somebody. And ultimately, if they leave, you know that, hey, I'm a good looking guy, or I have things going on for myself, I can continue and move forward. But to answer his question, like the initial question, you do believe that a man should develop himself. You think it's something that's developed over time? Like that's
the abundance mindset?
The abundance mindset, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like I said, it's taught. Even if your family doesn't teach it to you, you can still go
Right.
research it as well, right? Of course,
You have
that
the
takes
internet,
a certain
Google, YouTube, right?
Exactly,
so if there's a will, there's a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have the mindset to just seek it or ask questions, then you should be able to find how to do it or how to develop it pretty quickly. Like, is that fair to say?
No, for sure. And I feel like maybe some people, like, innately, they just don't care. So they're just like, okay, well, if this person doesn't want me, let me just try something else.
Yeah.
It's sometimes the abundance mindset is very simple. It's not overcomplicated, honestly. It's just knowing that, like, all right, if this didn't work out, trial and error. That's it.
Right.
Like, it doesn't have to be more than that. Some people put different labels on it, whatever. But at the end of the day, it boils down to just trying something and not working out and then moving to the next thing. That's That's just kind of what happens.
Yeah.
And also, like, attachment is a good thing to want for yourself. That's just part of, like,
But you want to have the right attachment.
I'm just saying you want to attach yourself to the right person. I'm saying you don't want to avoid attachment because that's also
but
not,
in the right
like, that's not
in the
enjoyable.
right way as well, right? Like
yes.
you don't want to have a possessive attachment.
No.
Or she runs everything attachment, right? You want to have a healthy attachment as a man. You don't want, but I hear what you're saying, but just to like clarify to the people out there.
Yeah, not too early. Let's not talk. We're not talking crazy, you know? Like, don't be like first date, then all of a sudden she's like, that's it. Like, it's done. And you don't even know the person like that.
Right.
I'm saying, like, once you've vetted the person out, you've gotten to know them better and whatever. And then, once you're in a relationship, that's an appropriate time to open yourself up and be vulnerable and attach, like, have some sense of, like, attachment. Maybe that's a harsh word to use, but
I think it's a harsh word for a lot of these guys that are currently watching this.
Don't be scared if it's the right woman and you have a good your gut feeling is telling you, like, okay, I feel like I'm making the right choice for myself. It's okay to have a little bit of attachment and grow over time with that trust and all that. So I know there's a lot of guys that are like, no, I'm not getting attached. I don't want to get attached to my feelings, because then it makes you vulnerable to get hurt. Yeah. But again, with the right person, it's okay. So.
Right, and I think majority of guys watching this, they want to be attached logically, and they want to ultimately control the dynamic of that relationship, if they wish to do so. But you shouldn't be attached as a man anyways. You shouldn't be attached emotionally and just moving with the motions and allowing her to control the dynamic. Like, you should have, even though you're attached, let's say, you should have some sort of control. And some logic in that attachment. But let's continue.
What is that mindset? Well, it's the confidence which gives you the abundance mindset. And what gives you those things? This self-improvement. There's no fucking way around it. You have to make yourself a higher value male to where you can attract dimes easily. See, when you don't do the self-improvement, you can be a bum sitting on your fucking mama couch and go out and play the numbers game, and you will get a fucking dime, right? You could be a big belly, you could be unemployed. If you talk to enough dimes, you could attract a dime being a fat bum. Okay, I give you that. But do you have the mindset that you can go out and do this on a regular basis? No, you do not. So when you get that dime, as you are a fat bum on your fucking mama couch, you are going to treat this dime special because it doesn't happen to you all the time. There is no way around that. The only way around that is to make yourself the type of man that can attract dimes like that all the time easily. That is
okay. So what are your thoughts on that? Because for me personally, in my younger days, I always had an abundance mindset, and like, not to brag or anything, like, getting women.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Getting women was not an issue for me, right?
Okay.
This is before you, of course, but getting women wasn't an issue for me.
Yeah.
And if one rice grain fell off the plate, I would just scoop up the other rice grains. I had other options, right? So I think that's what he's saying here. And sometimes you do get lucky. Sometimes you play the lotto and you may stumble upon a maybe low self-esteem dime and you grab her, but can you do it again, right? And some guys maybe have that false perception that they can do it again because they did it by accident. But again, what he's saying is improve yourself and develop yourself as a person, and that abundance mindset will come. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't know how likely. Okay, because you're a very attractive man. So for you already kind of set yourself up for that success, right? Like you.
But even if you're not attractive, there's a lot of ugly abundance mindset guys.
Yeah.
And you're like,
confidence, I guess.
How? Like,
yeah.
you seem like a good-looking girl, and you're like, how? Like, how did that happen, right? But just you carrying yourself, your aura about you, right? Your swagger, so to speak.
I think he's not explaining it well enough, because when you just say abundance, like any guy who's fat living in his like mom's basement, whatever, and who has an abundance mindset can get any dime, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's explaining that enough, because it goes like more into it.
Yeah.
It goes with all right, if this doesn't work out, I'm good. If it works out, I'm good. Like you're kind of indifferent. That's really, I think, where it comes from, and the confidence aspect of it too, right?
Yeah.
So you could be, like he said, fat and not doing much for yourself, but if you act like you got it going on, and you act like you have this demeanor about yourself where you're confident, you're like, yo, I'm good. Like I'm like, you can confidently go up to a dime if you're not like on that same level kind of thing. Confidently go up to her, still strike up a conversation, and just being able to show your personality more. Yo, a sense of humor is like the easiest way to get to like to most girls, and just being like smooth with your delivery, right? Which again, like that takes time to learn and to refine like what works for you, and like it goes just more into it than just. I don't think he explained it well enough. Just
well, I mean, we still
having an abundance mindset is not the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, we still got more to watch. Maybe
True.
he says something a little different, but maybe we'll continue and see.
It's the basis of what I teach you guys. I teach you guys mindset. I really don't teach game. If you guys been paying attention, I really don't teach game. I teach develop the internal, and the game comes naturally, which comes from the abundance mindset. In my opinion, I don't teach game. What I teach is the things that build the abundance mindset. In my opinion, once you get the abundance mindset, the charisma and everything comes with it. But you have to get the abundance mindset, which comes from game. All right. As far as the charisma go, that comes from the confidence, which comes from the self-improvement. There ain't no fucking way around it. Stop trying to fucking get around it. If you somebody that makes $5,000 one day, you gonna be excited as hell. If you start making $5,000 every day, it's gonna become nothing to you, and it's just like another day. But for that one day, if it doesn't happen to you all the fucking time, and you make $5,000, you gonna be fucking excited, and you gonna think that this is a special day. There's no way of fucking around it. Anybody would feel like that. But once you get to a point to where you've got your business making $5,000 every fucking day, oh well, then it don't mean shit. You see what I'm saying, guys? So the point being, guys, is stop trying to get around the self-improvement. You ain't gonna be able to just look at a dime and I give you some type of strategy. There is no strategy. There is no technique you can do.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Just what he was about to say with like there's no technique or there's no strategy. I don't know if I agree with that entirely. Like there's a strategy for everybody,
Right.
Like for me, if I want to get a guy, or if a guy wants to get a girl, whatever, there's a certain way to do it. Right? Again, like if you look proper, you look put together, you come across as a nice person, and you build trust kind of thing with the girl, or just, make her laugh. There's certain techniques that you can try, and then kind of make your own formula after learning what techniques are available. Does that make sense? Like, if you hear all these different options of like, okay, you should try this, you should try this, you should try this, you can try it. See what works, see what doesn't, create your own formula, and tailor it to yourself. And then that way, exactly, like if you go out to the club or whatever, and exactly what to do to pick up that girl that you want,
Right.
Or again, if that doesn't, like, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but.
Well, let me ask you this, because he's talking about 9s and 10s. Like, you may have the charisma and all of that, but at the end of the day, majority of men are going after 9s and 10s, and if they're able to get the ballers, basketball players, people with money, and let's say you don't have any money but you have the charisma, like how long do you think that would last? Like, do you think that's going to last for a duration of time, or because I think most women, like we talked about hypergamy, if you don't have any money and you're broke but you have all the charisma in the world, like I think that can only take you so far until a woman's like, all right, what about this guy driving a Mercedes Benz? Like, why would I be taking the bus? Why would I be taking the bus with you when there's 10 guys over there with a Benz?
This makes sense.
Right? So I think the charisma only goes a certain way. and AMS is not really talking about that specifically.
Okay.
But
Okay, no, that makes more sense when you explain it like that.
yeah.
I think I wasn't specifically thinking of I was thinking on the average woman, I guess.
Right.
Maybe.
The average woman, it would work.
Okay.
Like a 6, 7, 8 would work.
Mm.
But if you're talking about 9s and 10s, like...
Yeah, I don't know with this rating scale, to be honest. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What they consider, because I guess everybody considers a 9 or 10 different than somebody else, you know? So,
yeah, but for the most part,
know.
I mean, men are visual creatures, so it's like big ass, big tits, pretty face.
Oh, okay, that's the criteria?
That's
okay.
the criteria. I mean,
Okay.
for most men, right? I mean,
Okay.
comment below, let me know, like...
I guess, yeah. Explain it to me, because
right?
beyond me, but...
But I'm telling you from now, majority of men, ass, tits, face. You could...
That's pretty, that's like,
You could be as
fit body.
You could be
like,
as dumb as a rock. As long as you have those 3 things, you're a 9 and a 10. For the most part, anyway.
But there's a lot of girls that are like that, though. You don't think? Because that's not enough. Like, I don't know.
I'm talking about from a visual perspective.
Okay.
You're right, because again, men are visual creatures. If you're a woman walking down the street, I'm only looking at your visual. I know nothing about your personality,
okay.
This, that, and the third. But as I get to know you, you may be annoying. You may have this weird cough. Like there may be things about you that I can't stand.
That's a weird cough.
Right?
Okay.
But for the most part, visually, that's what I'm looking at.
Okay, fair.
And that's it, right? So,
okay.
Anyways, let's continue.
Yeah.
You know, other dating coaches have said, well, let me say it like this. Before I came to YouTube, the other dating coaches had it right. Other dating coaches been screaming, confidence, confidence, confidence is the key to getting women, and they were right. They are 100% right. But what did they do? They left out one critical aspect about that. How to get that confidence, which was the self-improvement. Them leaving out that one critical aspect allowed me to come in the back door and blow up. Because they were right about the confidence. Every dating coach since the beginning of time, I think whoever taught Jesus Christ about game told him you need to have some confidence. I think this confidence shit been going around for fucking centuries, right? But what nobody was, when I came onto YouTube and I told you guys to get in the gym and get on your purpose and shit like that, or make yourself a higher value male, any of you guys who've been following me a while know that I had to go to wars over this shit, because what I was teaching shit, guys was saying that's the beta way of going about shit. You shouldn't have to make more money or dress better to attract women. Any of you guys who've been following me a long time, you know what I'm talking about. Y'all know the wars that I fought when I first came to YouTube with this fucking self-improvement shit. What guys was like, oh, that's bullshit, that's beta male, you shouldn't have to make more money, you shouldn't have to get on your purpose to attract more women, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know I went with wars over that bullshit. And if any of you guys go back and look at like my first 30 videos on YouTube, a lot of it was with this confidence bullshit, because I was going to war with dating.
So what are your thoughts on that? Again, you were saying you came onto YouTube talking about self-improvement, and other dating coaches were saying, nah, like you don't have to do that to attract these 9s and 10s.
Sorry, so he's saying you don't need to worry about self-improvement?
No, so AMS is saying worry about self-improvement, improve yourself.
Yeah.
But he was saying when he first came to YouTube, other dating coaches were like, nah, you don't have to do that, but you can still get 9s and 10s. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because for me personally, again, like, if you don't have any money, women like guys with money, right? And if you're a man attracting a woman, you have, like, if you're attracting a certain prey, you have to use a certain bait, right? Mm-hmm. And if women like money, I'm not saying spend your money on them, but you have to have it to attract those 9s and 10s. You know what I mean?
What do you classify as like having money? Like, what is that like?
I would say you want to drive a decent car.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, you want to have a decent car. You want to have clothes that fit you, right? Mm-hmm. Decent looking clothes. You got to have nice shoes. Right? I always say you can go cheap on the clothing itself, but the shoes got to be on point, right? And you have to be able to, let's say, go on dates and things of that nature, right? Get something to eat and be able to spend, let's say, $50, for example, right?
But I feel like a lot of guys can do that. Like,
yeah, but behind closed doors,
oh.
that overdraft is hitting, right?
Okay, yeah. So maybe
Right.
okay.
Right. And for the record, I'm not saying you have to spend all the time for these dinner dates, right? Like in my opinion, when you first meet a woman, ideally you're probably gonna have to do a little bit of the spending, or you got to spend a little to get something in return, right? If it's more time, if it's sex, or whatever you're trying to get from that woman, you have to spend a little bit in order to attract her more, right?
Okay.
So that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on that? All right, let's.
I don't know if I have thoughts. Well, okay, wait. So I don't have thoughts about that, but again, like I think I still what he's trying to say about like focus on yourself and then you'll get more girls. I think that's honestly the best maneuver. Like that's the best way where it benefits you and the girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because if you're just sitting on your ass doing nothing and like trying to get all these 9s and 10s and then they get with you for a week and then they're like, oh, we figured out you're a bum, so bye. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to be short-term gratification. But at least in his way, if you're doing more self-improvement, you're actually trying to genuinely work on yourself and build a future for yourself. Yeah. That will not only attract her, but keep her.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I agree with more of like that strategy.
Right.
So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Coach is over, building the internal to give you the confidence, or building the external to build the internal, which other dating coaches thought that it should be coming from naturally from internally. And I 100% disagree with that. If that works for them, then good. But everybody ain't you. Most of you guys are going to have to build externally to get the game internally. The external, as far as your fashion, your body, and your finances, improve your game internally. You have other guys who just have it internally and they just poo-poo on you because you ain't them, which is the stupidest shit I ever fucking heard in my fucking life, guys. But that is the only way you're going to see dimes. And I know y'all guys gonna poo-poo.
So what are your thoughts on that? For me, when I, looking good, smelling good, I'm feeling good, and ultimately that's going to project confidence, and that's going to show in my game. And when I talk to women, right, you're gonna just feel better about yourself, and ultimately your results are gonna go up. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Like that goes with like what I was just saying. If let's say you're internally you're building yourself up, but the outside doesn't match the inside, then it's harder for you to believe it. You know? But let's say internally you're like, all right, like I really want to get myself back together and whatever. So let me just try, getting a haircut and putting on like a good outfit and nice shoes, whatever, and kind of externally look a little bit better. It kind of boosts you up a little bit where you're like, all right, how I feel on the inside matches what I look like on the outside. Yeah. So it gives you more confidence, right? Because if you're walking around like a bum, but you're like inside, you're like, I'm the best man out here. It's like, you don't look like that though. Like, you know? So you don't want to have that like discrepancy, I guess, or imbalance. So. Yeah.
And I always say perception is reality, right? So if you have the perception of being confident, looking good, that will be the woman's reality, or the outside people, that's going to be the reality for you. So yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, just balance it, honestly.
Cool.
So, yeah.
On this, but like Leonardo DiCaprio can treat dimes like 7 because he attracts dimes all the time. So it's nothing to him. Okay, if it ever got to a point to where he couldn't attract dimes like that, he'll treat their ass special too. Okay, guys. And for all you guys that's new and I've explained this before, but I'm going to explain it again. The reason I use Leonardo DiCaprio all the time is because I used to be a bouncer at the club that he used to come in and frequent all the time, and I used to see how the women would line up outside his session to get his attention. That's why I personally saw that with my own eyes. I didn't read that in a blog. I didn't read that on TMZ. I saw that with my own fucking eyes bouncing in New York City, guys. Okay, guys, but do the self-improvement. If you somebody who's been doing the self-improvement, there's another thing, guys, do the self-improvement and they can't See the dimes at 7. Do more self-improvement. That's the key. You ain't done enough. You did 2 sit-ups, all right? You did 2 sit-ups and you goddamn fucking put in 2 applications and all of a sudden you think you're a high-value male. Grind more, motherfucker. Quite frankly, man, I've been on YouTube now about 2 years and to this day, about 2 years and 4 months. Quite frankly, man, you're supposed to be about halfway through with grinding your purpose. If you started right when I started my fucking channel, there's no way in the hell you're supposed to be still grinding. Still grinding. So if you thinking that from the time I started YouTube to now that you through, man, you're supposed to be just like halfway, middle ways through. To become all that you want to be and grinding and stuff like that as far as a education or...
All right, guys, so we're going to end the video here. Like, what are your final thoughts on him saying, keep grinding, keep going? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Do it.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple. Just do it. Like, you don't want to, like, I feel like he's putting out a little bit of a false narrative that, like, you know, or even just the other dating coaches saying that, like, oh, you can be a bomb and still get all these women, whatever. No, don't fall into the lie, because I know for me, like, in the past, like, I've had guys that come to me that, like, with all the confidence, and they look like trash, and it's like, what do you, like, no, that's not, no, like, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So I would say balance it out. Of course, like, you know, again, it comes back to mannerisms and are you a gentleman? Do you uphold yourself well? And do you walk with your chin up high? And do you look like, do you at least look put together? I'm not saying you have to be like 6-pack and whatever, you know, but I'm just saying, like, look presentable where you feel confident,
right?
You know, and balance that out with what you look like. Because if the inside is saying, you know, I feel good, the outside should look like you look good too, you know?
Yeah.
But,
no, and I agree with that. And just to add to that is, you don't want to grind, have all this money, and then ultimately just lose the money. Because again, if you're getting these 9s and 10s, in my opinion, once the money goes, your confidence...
Spending all your money.
Right.
And then,
your confidence is going to go. Not going to be able to afford the lifestyle you can. You won't be able to, you know, live in a certain area and drive a certain car. So ultimately, everything's going to go with it, right?
Have you heard those stories of those men that, like, try to get this woman, like, you know, it's common to hear that, like, guys go for the girl that, like, is, you know, she likes expensive things, and just to upkeep the lifestyle for her, ends up him going into debt and just him losing all his money, and then her divorcing him, and it's just such a mess. Like, I don't agree with it at all. I personally I would say don't go for a woman that is too much upkeep, you know?
Right.
That's,
you got to be realistic too with the women that you're, like,
be
obviously
careful with who you choose.
Obviously everyone wants a 9 and 10, but can you afford it, right? Is it within your budget? Is it within your lifestyle, as you mentioned? So
And if you truly do desire that and you want that for yourself, hustle, grind.
You gotta
and
grind.
And it could happen for you, right?
Oh, yeah,
but put your best foot forward, that, like, if you do want this kind of lifestyle for yourself, like, you are doing what you need to do, so you're not just out here trying to fake floss, you know? And then it completely run out, and then now you're in the red, and just life is just going down the drain. You don't want to do that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so that is our reaction. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time,
bye.
Peace.